is up, everybody? Thank you for checking out a new episode of the BarbacoaCore podcast. I am your host, Patrick C. Huerta. Thank you very much for listening. If I could ask a favor, if you could subscribe to the channel on whichever platform you are using to listen to podcasts, whether it be SoundCloud or iTunes, or even if you use YouTube to listen to the podcast, just subscribe to that channel. It will be helping out the podcast, and it will also allow you to stay in the know of when these episodes are being updated or uploaded. Sorry. The plan is to put it out an episode every Sunday, but sometimes I'll put one out during the week if I have a guest come in on an off day or whatever, on a random day. I'll put that up during the week when that episode is ready. So yeah, stay in the know, like, share, subscribe to the channel on whichever platform you use to listen to podcasts, and I do appreciate that. Also, on this episode, I am trying out something new. Since I take time between recording and uploading the episodes, I am gonna go and just clean up the episodes a little bit, just kind of make them like as condensed as possible, just so it's like a good flow, of the episode. So I know I did say these episodes are uncensored and they're unedited, and they're still uncensored. I mean, guests could say, whatever they want, but I will clean up a little bit, little parts here and there on the episode, just so it's not like a full hour of just like rambling and stuff. Hopefully, the listeners appreciate that, and hopefully, it makes the episodes and the podcast a little bit better. So yeah, shout outs on this episode. Shout out to CBDB. Follow them on Instagram at mycbdb, or check them out on their website www.mycbdb.com. On that website, if you use promo code TXMC, you'll get 15% off of your purchase through that website. Now, CBDB, they're the Texas Hemp Botanical Alternative Boutique and Pop-Up Shop for all your CBD needs. They're in San Antonio, they're in Houston, they're in Austin. So follow them on Instagram at mycbdb to find out where they're going to be next, so you can catch them at their pop-up. Also, shout outs to Uglyhead. Thank you for letting us use the music for the intro and outro of this episode. Uglyhead has a new EP out called the Disembodied EP. It is available for digital pre-order for $5 at www.uglyhead.bandcamp.com/album/disembodied. And also shout out to 10-4 Menudo y Mas. They're a food pop-up shop. They specialize in menudo. They have awesome menudo. It tastes great. They also do pulled pork sandwiches. Sometimes they do chicken sandwiches. They try a bunch of different stuff from time to time. So follow them on Facebook and Instagram, 10-4 Menudo y Mas, to find out where they're going to be next, so you can go out and try it out for yourself. It's delicious stuff. 10-4 Menudo y Mas on Facebook and Instagram. Show announcements. I do have a show on April 13th. That's second Saturday of the month, April 13th, at Hondros on the St. Mary's Strip. It's called the Second Saturday with G Swank. That's the Gentleman Swank. They asked me to host the show, and so what we're gonna do, we're gonna kick off the night at 10 p.m. With the Comedy Hour. So it's going to be me hosting, and then I'm going to have Eric Packard, Chris Breckel, Irma Reese, King Quasi, and then Tori Poole will be closing out that night for the Comedy Hour. And then we'll have music from Favorite Son, and of course the Gentleman Swank will be closing out that night. We will have raffles going on. We'll have vendors and out there. Feature artists are going to be China Doll's Unique World. They will be set up out there. They'll have some of their artwork out there, and they'll also be part of the raffle as well. So you could come out and get for the chance to win some of the stuff from these vendors and people that donate stuff. So yeah, you can check that out. I will also have koozies, BarbacoaCore podcast koozies with the Fat Man on it. Those will be available at that show. So yeah, come out. Let's have a good time. It should be fun. I'm pretty stoked about it. And yeah, so let's get to this episode. On this episode, I had comedian Luke Malden come in. He's a young guy. I think he's like 21, but he's been doing comedy for 3 years, and it shows. That's very impressive that he started so young. So Luke Malden, you can find him on Facebook, Luke Malden Comedy, or you can find him on Instagram, everyone underscore can underscore GFY. So yeah, he does host a monthly show at the Middleton Brewery in San Marcos. The next show is going to be April 24th. He'll talk about that on the episode. And then mark your calendars for May 29th. So he's going to have a show at the Middleton Brewery the last Wednesday of every month. So yeah, uh, thank you very much for listening. Let's go ahead and get into this episode. See you next week. Here today in the studio, I have local comedian Luke Malden. How you doing, man?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. Just get a little bit closer to that mic. Can you hear yourself in the headphones?
I can hear myself,
that's
but
good.
there we
That's
go.
good.
That's way better.
That's way better. Yeah, man. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were coming all so far, man. Like you had to make such a long trip.
It's cool, dude.
Yeah, we could have arranged it while you were in town already, but I appreciate you coming down here. So.
I was planning to come for Oak Hills Tavern tonight. Shout
Oh,
out
that's
to
right.
Oak Hills. So,
Yeah. So
I
you're
mean,
gonna be in town
it worked
anyway.
out, man.
Yeah.
I
Cool,
don't
man.
mind.
Cool. So yeah. So before we get into it, how about we do your social media? Any shout outs? Any plugs that you have going on? Any shows?
Mainly what I'm on is Facebook. So you can find me on Luke Malden Comedy on Facebook. It's my personal comedy page because some people may not want to see what I'm sharing on my personal Facebook.
Yeah.
And then Instagram at everyone can GFY, and it's all lowercase. And then underscore after everyone, underscore after can GFY. And then on Twitter at Luke Malden. And then as far as shows go, this month is going to be the year anniversary of my show that I've been hosting out at Middleton Brewery in San Marcos.
Oh wow.
It's called Six Pack of Brews Comedy Show. That's what I named it because it's a brewery, you know. And it's always been 6 comics plus myself, so technically it's 7. But I host it, I book it, I make the flyers and take care of everything. So it's been a really good opportunity that they gave me, and
that's pretty cool for a whole year.
For a whole year, I'm like stoked about that because I'm so young in the game, you know. So it's something that's pretty cool.
Yeah. How long have you been doing comedy?
It'll be 3 years in August. So
3 years.
Like 2 3/4. I mean.
Yeah. And you're pretty young, so you started really early, huh?
I started right out of high school.
Yeah.
I didn't everyone wants to go to college and get their degree or go to trade school or whatever, and that's all cool. But I knew I wanted to do this, so I just jumped right in, you know.
Wow, man.
For the Middleton show, before we
go ahead.
Sorry, because I was long-winded about it. It's cool. On April 24th, we're gonna be out there. The lineup's gonna be Joseph Smith, local San Antonio comic. I'm not really sure how long he's been doing it. I think like 6 months. But the dude's really funny, and he hosts a show over at Bar House and Open Mic and at Old Main Ice House. Rotates Mondays, so that's really cool. Gueco's on it. He's been doing it about as long as I have, and he's got some good stuff. I'm going to butcher her last name, but Jennifer Marroquin.
Marroquin, yeah.
Marroquin. There we go. Sorry, Mom. My mom's Puerto Rican, and I can't speak Spanish. It's a shitty thing. But she's going to be on it. She hosts the LOL Showcase, local comic, hilarious. Garrett Buss, he's a San Marcos comic. You were asking about that scene.
Yeah.
And there's actually some really talented people out there, and he's one of my favorites. I think he was a theater kid in high school and, still in college now. Yeah. And he's funny.
Yeah, I saw him do one of the off the cuffs at Blind Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
I like his shit a lot. And then Duck Easy's going to be on it. Another really good local comic, loud.
Yeah.
And then Chandra Murthy's the headliner, and he's awesome. So
Oh, that's
he's coming back after a year, so it's his year anniversary too. So it kind of worked out cool. I didn't mean to do that, but
so that's his anniversary show as well.
yeah, man. So it's
That's
pretty
cool, man.
sweet
And so you've been running that show for a year.
for a year. Yeah,
That's awesome. And that's a monthly show.
it's a monthly show. I always do it the last Wednesday of every month.
Oh wow.
Unless it's like a holiday, you know, like
Oh okay. Yeah.
Thanksgiving and Christmas, we'll switch it up.
Yeah.
We might have to do that. Well, I guess not with Easter because Easter's the 21st, so and
Yeah.
it's a Sunday. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So straight out
No
of
one
high
gives
school.
a shit about Easter either.
People give a shit about Easter.
I do,
It's
but
it's a holiday. It's
I
still a
do,
holiday. Anything for a day off, man.
That's true.
So right out of high school, you started doing comedy. Where'd you get to start at? Like open mics in
The first place I ever did comedy was Cap City. I signed up on the email thing, and I actually got on,
Wow.
which was pretty crazy. Cause have you done that, Mike?
No, I haven't signed up yet.
You should really go do it.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing comedy?
I've only been doing open mics for like a year.
Really?
More or less, yeah.
You're actually really funny, so
Oh,
that
thank you.
surprises me. Like
That was like a weird compliment. Like
I didn't mean
actually,
I didn't mean it to be like, oh, but like for a year, I thought you'd been doing it a really long time. That's
Nah, man, been doing open mics and stuff. I'm actually doing my first show or hosting my first show April 13th. So yeah. There's some people that like just start like Joey Smith. I had him on the podcast a couple episodes ago. He's been only doing it like for 5 months, and then he started doing hosting, started doing shows and stuff. Some people like just want to jump into it and stuff.
It's awesome.
I'm
Man.
just kind of working stuff out, saying, but yeah.
I love it, but yeah, what the fuck were we talking?
About how you got started.
How I got started. Yeah. So Cap City, I get on the list. And have you ever watched Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah. Well, I saw the movie.
Well, so you know what Ricky dresses like.
Yeah.
I was a fan of that in high school because I'm a big pothead.
Yeah.
And so, stupid brain me, I get up on stage in a Hawaiian shirt with some track pants on, like to tell jokes. So they're probably laughing at that too. But the Cap City audience is also really cool. Like they're always just there to laugh. You pay $1 to get in or something like that.
Oh, okay.
It's probably gone up since then. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, you pay to get in, so they're there for a laugh already, you know?
Yeah.
And I got up there with, like, some stuff about my mom, and I still have the video of it, so I'm talking really quiet. Because I'm an introverted person, so it took me a long time to get out of that shell, you know? When I'm not on stage, I'm an introvert. I don't want to talk to anyone, and I'm a waiter, so that, like, I'm better about it now when I'm serving tables too.
Yeah.
But if I'm not at work and I'm not doing comedy, I'm not on a stage, I'm like, leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to talk to you. But I got out there and actually did pretty good for like a first timer. But
Yeah.
I've had some terrible bombings since then, so they happen. But
Dang,
they
man.
help you grow, man.
But like the Cap City, that's a big club, man. I mean, I being as popular.
There's 30, 40 people in the crowd for an open mic every time I've been, and I've only been 5, 6 times.
Yeah. So that's impressive. Like you just jumped right in there and shit. You signed up for the Cap City mic and jumped in there and shit.
I mean, yeah, I think that's what you got to do if you want to do anything. And like, I don't know about other people, but like I played basketball in high school, and I didn't really like execute this logic on it or this train of thought. I don't know what you would call it, but when I jump into something, like I want to try and be as great as I possibly can at it, and like I don't want to call myself like one of the best because I've only been doing it 3 years. Or it's like not say that I think I could be one of the best is what I mean, you know. But
you got so much more time to grow, man. That's
what
so
I'm
good
saying.
about the young
Like
people getting started.
I don't know where I'm gonna be 10 years from now as far as my train of thought.
Yeah.
So who knows where I could be, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely already crazy, so I'm off to a good start, man.
So that's who you are all the time. That's not just your stage persona. The craziness.
Oh yeah.
The aggressively craziness stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm.
That's who I am.
I'm a psycho. It's like, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So who were some of your influences before you got started? Like obviously you were thinking about it for a while before you actually went up. So what kind of people? Who were the people you were looking up to?
Well, people that are dead, I'll start with them, or
Yeah.
like the George Carlins, but like especially Bill Hicks and Sam Kinison. Those are my 2 favorites. And like if you watch me on stage, especially now,
Yeah.
I recently like uncovered being able to get angry on stage and really get angry on stage, not just be acting, you know, which is kind of scary because you have to figure out how to turn it off too at some point. I experienced the negative of that too, because like I did it one show and I was like, holy shit, that was awesome, because the crowd reacted so good. And then I did it a couple mics later, just at an open mic, and it was at Fitzgeralds, and the crowd wasn't paying attention. Worst bombing ever. And they just didn't react well, booed me off stage.
They booed you?
Booed me.
Dang.
And then I'm not gonna get into the story because I don't want to talk shit about the mic, you know. But like the crowd booed me off stage, and it was the worst bombing ever. But I need to go back there to conquer it, you know. It's just something that I'm kind of like, man, the venue didn't support me there, so fuck them. But I need to get over myself because, like I was saying, you know, not the greatest yet, so I gotta keep going back.
Yeah, those challenging ones, man. Like the one that Ben Davis does. He does one at that Texan 2.
I haven't been there yet, but I hear it's rough.
It is rough, dude. I walked out because I had the nerve. I was ready to go up and stuff, and I had been drinking. I try not to drink before I go up, or try not to drink too much. I might have a beer or two. That night I was doing whiskey, and so I was like, you know, already ready to go up, and then he put on 2 acoustic acts in front of me. And nobody's paying attention. Nobody gives a fuck. The bar is so loud. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. And, well, he put on 1 acoustic guy in front of me, and then he's like, okay, you're up next.
Fuck.
And so I was like, I'm pacing back and forth. I'm getting ready to go up. And then he says, you know what, we're going to put up another acoustic act. And I was like, fuck. And I walked out. I walked out. Because I was ready to go up and stuff. And I was like, let me try an angry character, because I don't have an angry character. I don't do angry. I don't do yelling, and I don't do gay voices yet, and I don't hump stools. So I still got a lot to learn. So I was like, man, how am I gonna get this fucking crowd back? Because nobody was paying attention. Nobody won the crowd over yet. And I was like, I'm not gonna be the one to do it.
Right, huh?
And so I was like. And I went outside, and I was gonna go like smoke a cigarette, and then I just kept walking. And but I felt bad because Ben's like, "Hey man, sorry I couldn't put you on the list. I'll try to start the mic." Or like he was taking ownership of it, and I was like, "Nah, man, I had to go. I had to take a shit." But yeah, man, it was a rough room. So I don't have the capability to do that yet. You know, wild rooms like that. So that's something I still need to learn. But yeah, that Fitzgerald's mic, it's kind of rough. I've been an audience member to a few of those, and nobody pays attention to those, man.
They will thicken your skin up, man.
Yeah.
But like something that's taught me how to deal with different rooms is hosting that Middleton show. Even though it's the same room every month, it's different variables, you know. Like there was this one month, Jacob James Garcia was the headliner. I don't know if you've met him, but
no, I've heard of him. But yeah,
he's hilarious. He's out of Austin, but he's in Australia right now,
wow,
doing shit over there. So that's where I want to be one day. But
yeah.
He was the headliner, and this fucking guy was in there. He was DPS, and all his buddies were DPS, and they were just hammered. Middleton's, I don't know how they brew their beer because I'm not that sophisticated, but it's some strong fucking beer. Like,
oh yeah.
I just turned 21, so I started going there and drinking. My dad goes there.
Yeah.
So you get fucked up like 3-4 beers, you know, and these guys are just slamming.
Yeah.
And they're talking super loud the whole time. Their wives are in there. I fucked with them, like.
Is it a big place, or they're right there? Like they can't go to another end of a bar or something?
There's like the bar in the back, so sometimes a lot of people sit at the bar, but there's been shows where it's packed out to where they have to sit in the front.
Oh,
and
wow.
They have to sit at the bar, and then some people are like standing up in the back by the bar, and you have to like move out of the way.
Yeah.
So that's what I love seeing, but it's only been 4 shows, but I guess out of 12, it's not too bad for like a first year thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, fucking Jacob went up there and just lit that guy up, like,
oh wow,
owned the fucking room. And it was Jay LaFar had been there the month before. That was one of the funniest sets I'd ever seen too. Not the same factors. It was like an older crowd, and this old lady was like trying to heckle him, and he goes, Shut the fuck up, ma'am. I don't need your crap. I bet you haven't trimmed down there since the Reagan era.
Oh,
It's
shit.
just fucking shut it.
Yeah.
And like Jacob James Garcia gets up there and he's just like, I want to start out by saying thank you guys for having me out and fuck you, dude. And just like own that guy like that from the start and just like
Yeah.
this guy's proof that not all cops are dicks, just some of them.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Dang, man.
It was hilarious, dude.
So besides, San Marcos, you did Austin. Have you done anything else? Any comedy shows outside of Texas? Have you tried that out?
Not outside of Texas. The farthest I've gone is Port Aransas. I've done Corpus and Port Aransas, and yeah, that's like as far as I've been.
Yeah.
I usually I have like my triangle that I rotate when I'm doing open mics. I do Austin, San Antonio, and San Marcos, but I'm mainly San Antonio and San Marcos just because Austin's so overpopulated. It's impossible to get up there in a timely manner, you know?
Yeah.
I got to drive from Canyon Lake, so it's an hour and a half of my time to get up there, whereas it's like 45 minutes, an hour to get here, 30 to get to San Marcos, so.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I saw something posted yesterday. Irma Reese had posted something that you were killing there at the Elbow Room.
That's what she told me. I was like, I just went up there with energy because
So
I kind of just was like, man, these people aren't going to pay attention to me, so I just got to go up there and like out energy this room like
Oh, okay.
if it makes sense, I'll like just match the energy of every person in that room put together, but as
Yeah.
one man just have to outdo that. That's what I tried to go up there and do, you know,
Yeah.
and just do my set.
Yeah, it's a great room, man. I like that room, but like if there's no crowds, and that's another problem I have too. Like I have to have a crowd there. I have to have some type of response to react to. If it's an empty room, man, I lose myself, man. I get fucking shook. So did they have a good crowd yesterday?
It was only like 10 people when I went up.
That's
and
still decent, man.
It was a decent crowd, but they were all at the bar, and the
Oh,
bartender
okay,
kept
yeah,
yelling
yeah.
shit at me. So it was basically just me like quick reacting to the bartender, like boom, boom, like off my joke. She's like saying something about my joke, and so I'd have to just boom, and then like
Yeah.
kind of try and get back into it. And one of them got fucked up. Like the start of my set got fucked up
Yeah.
because I just went off on her, and then like I had to get into my next joke. But the next joke always kills, and
Yeah.
it's like one of those jokes that like Owen Benjamin would do.
Mm.
He's one of my, we were talking about comedians that you like look up to, like as far as comedians today, he's like up there for me.
Yeah.
People hate that guy now, but
So is that part of his comedy? Because I know he does those like outrageous type of videos and stuff, but he
they're
actually
more
does
like
that.
videos. He doesn't really do it on stage as much. Like
Yeah.
his jokes are like, he had one joke that I thought was, I mean, some of them are kind of like that, but it depends how you look at it. So like, he did this one joke about, it was like before Trump won in 2016 or around the time that he won. And he's saying like, oh yeah, I agree with him about the wall, but I disagree with where we're building it. We need to build it on the northern side, because he's talking about how like Canadians come down and use our health care because the healthcare lines get backed up there, which is true. Like my dad's
Oh,
from
yeah.
Canada, and Stephen Crowder, he's another pundit that's from Canada that talks about that. Like you have to come down and use the healthcare down here sometimes, get on privatized medicine.
Steven
And-
Crowder, that's not the Proud Boy guy, right? Is it?
No, that's Gavin McInnes.
Gavin McInnes, that's right. Okay.
And anyway, so
yeah, sorry.
I listen to all those fucking guys. But,
I'm a fan of everybody, of all of them.
I'm a fan of free speech, dude.
No, I get that.
But,
yeah, go ahead.
So his jokes basically like just calling Canadian. Oh fuck, I'm butchering the joke. Never mind. But yeah, it's a funny
yeah.
joke. Go look up the special. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't want to say his joke on a podcast anyway.
Yeah, I don't
Fuck
wanna
it up. I was like
butcher
trying to
it.
remember it. I'm like, no, it won't sound funny.
Because you know it's funny, like, I laughed when I heard it, and then you try to tell somebody else, and like, no, I didn't say it right, or something like that.
I just know it's coming. I'm like thinking about how to say it. I'm like, I can't even remember the way it goes in order. I just remember that it was hilarious.
Yeah. But no, like when there's no crowd there and stuff, like I guess I'm getting better at it because like I jumped on the show at Janos. Janos has a show this past Saturday, and I just went because I knew there was a show going on. I forget who it was. Clifton Simmons closed it out, and then Jennifer Monaghan was there, and Lacey, I can't remember her last name, but Lacey was running it, and I had just walked in, and she's like, "Are you Alonzo?" And I was like, "No." she goes, "Well, are you a comedian?" I was like, "I don't know. I try to be sometimes, whatever." So she asked if I wanted to go up, and there was a table of 4 people. Everybody else was part of the show, uh, but they were paying attention. They were a good crowd. So I mean, like if they're listening and if they're responding, I could work with that. So
It sounds better than the Janos show that I did a couple weeks back, man. It was that show that I did at Fitzgeralds was on my 21st birthday, and then
oh yeah,
Ben Davis inherited the Janos show
uh-huh.
on my 21st birthday. Like, I guess a bunch of people canceled, he had told me. So he asked me to come do some time, and since it was my birthday, he's like, I want to get you a beer. So I go down there,
Yeah.
and it was packed, but everyone was there to see this band that was playing after the comedians.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Chavarria was up there, Anthony Chavarria, and he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
He hosted at River Center and stuff.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, oh, I have to follow him, and he's bombing. I'm fucked. And I brought 2 of my friends with me too. I'm like, yeah, let's party, let's drink. And then after that, I was just like, I need to go to another set, like, because I was pissed. And I go to Fitzgerald's and just proceed to bomb and get booed off stage. And I'll just say it, get the mic pulled from me
Yeah.
a second time. I gotta not do that next time.
Yeah, man. It's rough. I mean, if the crowd doesn't give a fuck, it's pretty rough. But it's all part of learning. It's like learning how to deal with that. Or dealing with the crowd's not. If there is no crowd, you gotta work with that too and shit. So.
Yeah, man.
But so you came prepared with some topics. I appreciate that. You you get into that, or you still want to talk about your comedy?
We can go for it, but I mean, if you want to get into some of the stuff.
Well, I saw something too that you have a YouTube show or YouTube channel. Like,
I used to do a show, and I need to get back into it. Like,
what was that? Like sketch, a sketch show or something?
It was basically like what you're doing, except more of a Bill Burr style. And I had a couple guests on. I had Drew Blues on, and then I had Cousin Berto on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And but it was more like Bill Burr, and I would just sit there and try and ramble to myself.
Yeah.
It would be about 10 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
And some people have told me it was funny, but it's people that I work with, or like that I know closer than comedy, So I'm like, I don't see how you would think that's funny, because I haven't gone back and actually watched any of them because I hate looking at myself. It's like I listen to my sets because you have to do that, but
That's
as
cringe.
far as that goes, it's just like when you have to go back and watch like a podcast or something like that you're on.
Yeah.
Like I may not listen to this. I'll just let people tell me what they think, because I can't listen to myself. I'm just gonna be like, oh, you idiot, like.
Yeah. No, it's tough to go back and listen to your sets when you record them, especially if you think that you had a good one. Like, you're like, oh man, that was great, and then you go listen, like, oh, that's not how they responded at all. Shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, but it does help. It does help a lot. Like changing words up here and like maybe like the placements of every joke and stuff. Because when I started, like everything like had like an order. From start to finish, it was all like set in line. So if I skipped ahead, I couldn't go back. It wouldn't make sense to go back. So yeah, so I was listening back and stuff. I was like, oh man, a lot of it is just, it's pretty hard to listen to.
It is, and then it can be helpful in that sense where you can change something that sucked, or like maybe you get something that was gold that you said off the top of your head. I've done that a couple times, not many, and then you can go and build off of it.
Yeah.
It may not be like solid gold right away. You got to chip away at it, but polish it down and everything, and then it works for you.
That's all work in progress. So are you gonna bring that show back? You said that YouTube show, or do you?
I want to, or maybe do something else. I named it the Luke Malden Show. I like the name of yours. It's like, you think you're gonna come on here and eat some tacos, like you said in the email?
I had to tell people that, because everyone's like, so when do we eat? Like, there's no food, man. Like, it wouldn't be good to eat food on the mic. Yeah, it was just a stupid name. I thought it was funny.
I don't know if you listened to the Alex Jones on Joe Rogan, but that shit was hilarious. And
it was fucking 4 hours long.
It was 5 hours long.
Was it 5 hours?
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
and
I saw pieces of it.
I watched the whole thing almost
couldn't
twice.
watch the whole thing.
I watched it all the way through once, and then I watched it about halfway through again.
Because that Eddie Bravo guy, I can't stand him. I can't stand Eddie Bravo.
I love him.
So once Eddie Bravo came into the conversation, I can't take this, man.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it for yourself. It's funny because Eddie Bravo prods Alex Jones into the best blow up ever. Because you saw the part where they're talking about late term abortion or after birth abortion is basically what it is. Like,
Yeah.
let's call it what it is. It's out there, but
Yeah.
because the governor, did you see that clip of the governor of Virginia on the radio saying like, well, we're gonna deliver the baby and then we're gonna keep it comfortable and it's gonna be up to the mother and a conversation with the doctors if we resuscitate it or not.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's all legal terminology and bullshit, and like they're talking about killing babies after they're born, you know, which is why Alex Jones got so pissed off. But it was hilarious that Eddie Bravo like prodded him.
Yeah, I
into
think I
that.
saw
And
that piece because he was like talking about like they're using their tissue or
it goes into like what I was the point
regenerating.
that I was gonna try and make about what they were talking about is like Alex Jones talks about like psychosis and like he's not a fucking PhD in psychology, so but like when you go read about some of the stuff the dude talks about, you can tell that he's actually read and he's not just like making up what he's saying, you know, like sometimes he's like fucking wrong because he's going teleprompter free and he just like says some shit because he's all riled up and it's like, whoa, chill out, Alex, that was totally wrong, I just googled that, like go back and correct yourself there. But and like he won't be totally wrong, but it'll be like some fact of it. But anyway, like one spectrum of this psychosis is like you fucking believe everything you're told and you just go along, or you don't believe anything at all and like you think everything's a conspiracy. So I try to be somewhere in the middle.
I believe that ignorance is bliss. I don't want to know shit unless it affects me directly. I mean, I'll listen, I'll watch it, I'll listen to it and all that stuff. But I was like, I give up on a lot of stuff. And to me, Alex Jones is just a character. He's a wild character. He's to be entertained by. But what he says, man, he talks a lot of shit. You know.
It sounds like shit, dude. But like, go read some history on it, and you'll be like, oh fuck, like the. So there's this book called The Killing of Uncle Sam. I want to go back and like reread it because I got like about 3/4 of the way through, and then like I just like stopped reading because I got fucking lazy, you know.
Yeah.
But it's basically like the manual of how the New World Order was set up and everything that he's talking about. And then at the end of every chapter, there's links where you can go like Google where they're getting this shit from, like that we're like, hey, we're not just making this up. And like it goes all the way back to like the 1500s in like, I think it was Australia with, oh fuck, I forget the guy's name, but like, he was crazy, dude, and like just evil the way he treated people there, like to mine these diamonds and shit.
Oh yeah, they're like slave workers and shit.
Yeah, like and like these guys all believed that like white people were the superior race and that England was supposed to like lead the world, like this world order that they wanted to create into like this new millennium. And then eventually it got passed on, this system got passed on to the United States. So like we've been co-opted because I believe like that our original founding was like a legit thing, you know, where like the idea anyway, all men are created equal, was like a thing that our founders wanted us to come to eventually, you know?
Yeah.
Where, and like now our whole Constitution and Bill of Rights and everything has basically just been shredded. Like we don't fucking go by that shit anymore. It's all UN policy and garbage and so it's,
I mean, but some people try to like, oh, it's unconstitutional and all this stuff, like when it fits their story and all this stuff. But I don't know, man.
Some people try to turn it like that, but there's a lot of things that really are. Like, I mean, the Patriot Act, and that's like, so just to prove like I'm not Democrat or right wing, like that's a Republican thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's some horse shit because just because some people flew planes into things, now everybody in the whole entire country needs to be surveilled. Like, if anything, and like it sounds shitty to some people, but profile the kind of people that did it until like something changes and someone else does it. And like people are gonna be like, oh, well, there's white terrorism and shit like that, like what happened over there in Australia or New Zealand, sorry, the guys from Australia in Christchurch. But like, well, you said you don't. I'm sorry. I always ask people, have you read this? But the guy's manifesto, it was a motherfucker for me to find because they scrubbed it off the internet. And like, I don't agree with the guy at all, but I wanted to see what he has to say.
Mhm.
And they're painting him out to be like this right-wing Nazi dude that wanted to go murder a bunch of Muslims, you know?
Yeah.
And he's not at all. Like, he called himself an eco-fascist,
Mhm.
whatever the fuck that means, I don't know.
Yeah.
And like, he kind of explains it later in the manifesto, like, and he's deluded, so it doesn't make any sense to me. But like, someone that wants to help the environment through fascism,
Yeah.
so like through enforcing shit
Help the
onto
environment
pe-
through fascism?
yeah, like, so I guess it would kind of align, because like he said he aligns with communist China the most, as far as the People's Republic of China,
Uh-huh.
as far as like ideology.
Yeah.
And so I guess it would kind of go along with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's
Uh-huh.
a representative out of the Bronx in New York.
Yeah, yeah.
And she just put up this shit called the Green New Deal. It was a bill.
Mhm.
And they wanted to get rid of planes and like tax methane on people. And like there was a clause in it where if you don't want to work, we'll give you money. Just
Yeah.
free health care, all this outrageous shit
Yeah.
that you just can't do. And like, oh, let's tear down buildings, let's get rid of all airplanes.
Yeah.
How are you gonna do any of that? And like then compete with the rest of the world? But so I guess that's what it would be, an eco-fascist, is to just like force everyone into a state like that where you're basically going back to the 1800s.
Yeah, man. I guess they're trying to like figure out a way to make the world a better place and shit, but it's just too late for that. You know, like you can't really fix it really.
There's ways to do it, but like the way we're going, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Shit's collapsing. I'm starting to get depressed about it. I wanna be.
See, that's why I stay away from all that shit. Plus you can't believe everything that you read because they can manipulate everything.
Oh yeah,
like,
well
they can
you don't.
manipulate sites, literature, like everything could be twisted in a certain way, you know.
You don't want to believe everything that you read, but that's why I try and go like I look at a lot of different stuff. So like
Yeah.
I'm talking about Alex Jones too much, but like, and he's just a good example because like he's a fucking interesting character, so I watch him a lot. That's like honestly what I get out of him more than like informative shit. Which I mean, there's a lot of informative shit that you can go Google, but it's like.
Yeah.
Like, so the other day he's like, oh, let's invade Venezuela because of what's going on down there. I'm like, whoa, fucking hold on there, Alex, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know? But like, he's like, let's have a 300,000 man invasion of, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, there's gonna have to be a draft for that, and like,
Yeah.
But anyway.
But you gotta understand, like the way that you see it, like not a lot of people, they're either on board 100%. Like so they'll follow him and they'll pick up on his ideals and stuff, and that's fucking dangerous.
I mean, like I pick up a lot of his ideas too, but like I don't see why a lot of his ideas are dangerous, because when you like, if you go for like, oh yeah, let's go to war, then yeah, but like mostly his ideas are freedom worldwide, like 1776 worldwide, the idea of that, and like forward motion prosperity for everyone, but like people paint him out to be this Sandy Hook guy when it's like a little bit of what he covered. You know, I was talking with someone about this shit earlier. It's like you see so much coverage in the media a certain way about somebody, and then you start to think like that's all that person is, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas like what they've done, like their body of work might be way more than that. But if that's all you see, then that's all you're gonna think they did.
Yeah.
But so like what I was gonna get into is like when I look at different sides, like they just did a deposition on this Sandy Hook thing, and it was like from 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, and as far as the law goes with that, they had to wait a whole month before releasing it. It was supposed to be lawyers' eyes only, and the Austin lawyers representing the Sandy Hook parents just went ahead and released that shit to the public. And so CNN has this clip, and like you go punch in Alex Jones' deposition, and it's just like all these clips before you find like the whole 3-hour thing.
Yeah.
But it's like all these edited together clips where they're not really showing you entirely what he says. They're showing like a little clip where it just makes him look stupid and bumbling, or like sound really like ugly.
Yeah.
And
that's
so I can see why people are like, oh, what an evil, ugly man, you know?
Yeah. Because that's what they want. They want to manipulate it to put their story, to push their story.
Because that's part of the psychosis.
It's horrible, man. I mean, that's never gonna stop. You know,
And it's not as long as time goes on because there's always going to be people that don't want to know what's going on, which is okay. But I mean, like, those kind of populations collapse eventually, you know?
yeah,
It's just what it is. It's a decadence thing. And like, we had such a great population,
yeah,
such a great society for such a long time, you know?
mm,
That the decadence of the West eventually just fucking ruined us and we let it all go to shit, you know?
yeah,
That's what's basically going on right now when you look at it.
yeah, man. It's not good.
But
It's really not
no.
good.
But anyway, let's get out of that shit, man. That's like depressing for people. That's not a good way to end.
Yeah. So comedy, man.
It's a comedy.
Oh shit.
Like, what made you want to get into it, dude?
Me? I was just looking for something to do. Like, I was always interested in it. Like when I was younger, but I really didn't understand like what it was like with stand-up comedy. I always thought that they were just actors playing a part because you would see somebody do like in a movie and then you would see them doing stand-up, you know, because they cross over their actors and all that stuff. So I always thought it was actors doing that. Um, and then I was interested in it. The first show that I saw was Ralphie May. I was in Italy in
Oh,
2000,
lucky.
and I was visiting my sister, and he just so happened to be at the same restaurant that we were at. And so he heard us. He's like, Americans? And we're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like, hey man, what's going on? I'm doing a show at the USO, blah blah blah. And he's like, cool. He's like, where y'all from? I was like, from Texas. He's like, y'all from Texas? So he was all stoked about like meeting us and stuff. And so we went to a show, and I never heard of him before. This was in 2000. Never heard of him before and stuff. And then we went to the show, and he controlled that whole room, man. He was fucking hilarious, controlling the whole room, and I was fucking amazed because that was the first time I saw like live stand-up comedy. You know, it's a whole lot different than when you see it on TV.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was fucking powerful and shit. And so that was cool. And then he's from Houston, Texas. So that was that little connection. And then we run into him all the way in fucking like Italy, in La Maddalena, Italy and shit. And then I come back and I see him on the Last Comic Standing. And that
Yeah.
shit blew my mind. I was like, I fucking knew that guy. You know, I saw him. So I've always like held that like how I saw him control the room, because it was like a bar show, but it was like a packed house and stuff. That was amazing, man. I always like was like in awe of anybody that could do that. You know?
It is an amazing thing. Like, it's such a talent.
Yeah.
That's what I'm striving to get.
It's pretty. It's like a drug. Like when people respond to like things that you say, you know, and they laugh and they think like it's funny, like that's a fucking great feeling, you know.
Yeah, man.
So I don't know. I just went to I started doing open mics. The first one I did was at PWA one, and it went okay. You know, it went good for being my first one.
I feel like I've heard of that place, but I've never been.
PWA, they were doing it at Martini Ranch. They're gonna bring it back and do it at Janos. But it's the poetry and then
Oh,
comedy
okay,
and
yeah,
all that
that's
stuff.
okay.
Poetry
Gotcha,
without
gotcha.
apology, PWA. And so I did that mic, and I had a good time on that one. And then when Ben was doing the mics at Tucker's, I went to that one, and that was horrible, man. Like it was just other comics, and like nobody was responding the way like that.
Oh, yeah, man.
So I quit for like 2 weeks after that one.
Tucker's is a rough room.
It was
It was.
tough. It was tough. But no, man, I'm just having fun with it. I enjoy going to the mics. So now I'm just starting to jump on shows. We'll see how it goes, man. I
It's a
just
lot of fun.
needed something to do because I used to do like bands, so my time was like in that, like it was
Yeah.
consumed with that.
What was your instrument?
Drums.
All right, on.
I play drums, and that's what it was. Like if I was a guitar player, I'd probably still be playing. But I just got tired of fucking carrying the drums, loading in, setting up. That's pretty much what brought me to like quitting.
Do you talk about that on stage? That's a joke, dude.
Nah, not yet. I haven't worked that out.
You gotta
yet.
make that a joke. That's fucking funny.
Nah. And it's funny too. I was looking back because my last show was at I played at the Maverick Fest in 2016, and so I was at Arneson River Theater. And after my shows, I always like if it's a good show or if it's a bad show, I always throw my sticks out, right? And so they wrote about our set not very nice, I don't think. It depends how you say it, but he wrote about our set in the Current, and he was pretty much just he talked shit about me, and I didn't notice it until today. I just went back to look at it today, and he was like, yeah, like the drummer after the set, he threw their sticks into the river, which was kind of rock and roll, but it was mostly funny. I was like, what the fuck, man?
That's the ultimate criticism.
Yeah, yeah.
It was kind of rock and roll.
It was kind of rock and roll, but it was
also
mostly
just
funny.
mostly funny.
Yeah. So fuck the Current. Nah, it was cool.
That's an Austin newspaper, right?
No, it's here.
It's Current's here. Oh, okay. It just
Yeah.
sounds trendy, like
They
Austin.
have the Chronicle in Austin.
Okay.
Austin Chronicle. It's like the same length. It's all the same layout and all that stuff. But yeah. Well, cool, man. Let's wrap it up. Shout outs again. Anything you got going out? How do people find you on social media? Give that everything.
Luke Malden Comedy on Facebook, guys. On Instagram, @EverybodyCanGFY, and on Twitter @Luke Malden. And then come out to Middleton Brewery on April 24th, the Six Pack of Brews comedy show. You can find that event on Facebook if you search it too, and then hit the going or hit the interested, and Facebook reminds you. It's a neat little spy tool for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then that lineup's going to be Joseph Smith, Gueco. Can you say Jennifer's last name for me again?
Marroquin.
There we go. Jennifer Marroquin.
There you go.
Garrett Buss, Duck Easy, and Chandra Murthy, the headliner. And then also mark your calendars for May 29th, which is also a Middleton Brewery show. So April 24th, May 29th.
Cool, man. Yep, that's it. Thanks for coming out.
For sure, man. Thank
you gonna
you
go
for
to
having
Oak
me.
Hills?
I'm going right there.
Cool, man. All right, see y'all next time.